What's up, guys? It's Pino here from Get Wisdom. In today's video, we're going to be talking all about money from God's perspective. In fact, we're going to be breaking down the parable of the talents. And I want to submit to you this idea of the wealth of the wicked has been stored up for the righteous. What if it was less about God taking money from bad people and giving it to God's people? And what if it was more about God expecting more from his people so that they could grow their capacity, so that they could learn how to multiply the treasure that he has entrusted to them? That's what the wealth of the wicked has been stored up for the righteous actually means. We're going to be talking about it all today in this training. You don't want to miss it. Let's get into it. Today's training is brought to you by my upcoming 5-day Create and Sell Digital Products 5-day virtual challenge. Come spend 5 days with me. I'm going to show you the moral and the ethical way on how to monetize your knowledge, take your knowledge, your experience, your expertise, turn it into a digital product, something like an ebook, a course, a mentorship, where you do the work one time and then you could sell it over and over and over again so that you don't have to continue to trade your time for dollars. Guys, the link is down below. Come and check it out. Now to the training. Well, guys, we are going to jump straight in here. And what I'd like to do is I want you guys and gals to go with me to Matthew chapter 25, okay? And we are going to start at verse 14. Now, before we get into the actual scripture here, I want to submit a couple of ideas to you, a couple of concepts to you, just to get you thinking in the correct direction, okay? Let me ask you a question. How many parents are in the training right now? Just wave at me like this or drop some fire emojis in the comments if that's you, okay? Any parents in here? Now, I don't know about you, but me as a parent, okay? If I have 2 kids and one kid is doing a not so good job of managing something, am I going to entrust more to that kid to like, hey, you're not doing a very good job at managing this thing or being responsible, so here's even more? Right? Like no good parent would do that. So why in the world do we think that's how God is? Right? So many believers, so many Christians, one of the main reasons why so many believers, they stay broke, they stay in scarcity, they stay in lack, they stay in poverty is because they are not doing a good job of stewarding and managing the current finances that have been entrusted to them already. And one of the ways that they're not being a good steward of that is they're not increasing their wherewithal or their financial literacy. They're not investing into themselves. They're not growing their skills. They're not learning how money works and what is money and what is wealth and what are riches and what's the difference between the three and how does all of this work. For most people, they're just like, well, I hope I get a little bit of money and hopefully God's going to just dump more on me and hopefully the increase will come. That's not how God works, guys. Okay? So why in the world are we deceived to think that God is going to take money from a bad person and give it to a person, maybe they even love God, but they're being a bad steward? God is never going to entrust more to a bad steward. Okay? So I'm about to submit some ideas to you. I submit to you that this idea of the wealth of the wicked stored up for the righteous, it actually is not about God taking money from bad people and entrusting money to his people. In fact, I'm about to reveal to you out of the Bible why I believe the wealth of the wicked is stored up for the righteous is actually about God transferring wealth from his people who are not good stewards to his people who are good stewards. Is anybody ready to discover this together? If that's you, drop some fire emojis in the commentos, baby. Let's go. Guys, we're gonna kick this off here. Matthew chapter 25, verse 14. Think about this. Any wise king would not be entrusting more of something to someone who they're not doing a good job of stewarding. Right? And the same way goes for God. Guys, we're going to be reading out of the parable of the talents. Here in the NIV, it's called the parable of the bags of gold. By the way, let me just first and foremost say it like this, okay? I know a lot of Christians, a lot of believers, they hear this phrase, the parable of the talents, and for whatever reason, their mindset goes to, oh, God's given me talent. I'm good at singing. I'm good at dancing. I'm good at juggling. I'm good at leadership. I'm good. All of that is awesome. But what the Bible is talking about is not your talent. It's talking about talents of gold. Literally, like go look it up. Like it's talking about talents of gold here. And what we are talking about in the parable of talents is not like I'm good at, singing and dancing and juggling and doing this and doing. It's literally talking about money. Okay? And I want to share with you guys and gals maybe something that you've never seen before out of Matthew 25. I'm going to start at verse 14, and there's a number of different phrases I want you guys and gals to pay attention to here because I am confident that a lot of these phrases are really going to be massive unlocks as you begin to see them in this light, okay? Matthew 25, verse 14, we're jumping into the parable of the talents. NIV calls it the parable of the bags of gold. Check it out here. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a man going on a journey who called his servants. Okay, I'm going to write some of these phrases on the board because I want you guys to pay attention to them. Okay. Oops, wrong color here. Let's go to black here. The first phrase I want you to pay attention to is his servants. Okay, pay attention to that phrase. Okay. The kingdom of heaven is like a man going on a journey who called his servants to himself and entrusted his wealth to them. Notice it didn't say he called his servants to himself and gave them the abilities to sing and dance and juggle and have all these talents. Okay, that's awesome, and he does do that. But this context here is talking about money. Okay, verse 15. To one, and by the way, I'm reading out of the NIV. Verse 15. Again, verse 15. To the one he gave 5 bags of gold, to another he gave 2 bags of gold, and to another he gave 1 bag of gold. Watch this, each according to his own ability. That's another phrase I want you to consider here. According to his or hers own ability. Interesting. I don't know about you guys, but God is not this, God is not a socialist to where he's like, hey, it is fairness for all. Like, I'm not trying to get political with it, but it's not. The way that God works is he entrusts to us according to our own ability. Let me ask you and tell me in the comments what you think about this. Are you able to grow your ability? Yes or yes? Drop it in the comments. Yes. Is your current ability the maximum ability that you could ever experience? No or no? So could it be that if you desire for God to entrust more to you, you have got to become responsible to grow your capacity? Interesting. Let's keep moving on here, okay? So verse 15, he gives one guy a bag of 5 bags of gold, one guy 2 bags of gold, another guy 1 bag of gold, each according to his own ability. Then the man went on his way. Watch this, verse 16. The man who had received 5 bags of gold went immediately. I want you to pay attention to this one. Immediately, I probably spelled that wrong. Somebody in the comments say immediately. Immediately. I don't know if you ever heard this before, but action takers are what? Action takers are money makers. I think it's interesting that the one with 5 bags of gold, that the Bible literally tells us when he received the 5 bags of gold, he went immediately. It didn't say he went to go pray about it. He went to go think about it. Let me consider it. He just went and took immediate action. Interesting. Let's keep going. The one who received 5 bags went immediately and put his money to work and gained 5 more bags of gold. The one with 2 bags also went and made 2 more bags of gold. But the man who had received 1 bag went off, dug a hole in the ground, and hid his master's money. Now we're going to pause right here because I want you guys and gals to consider something. I know a lot of people may or may not understand the parable of the talents to be talking about money, but it is absolutely talking about money. And by the way, guys, it's not just talking about a little bit of money, okay? I want to break this down for you here. So literally, the master gives one guy 5 talents of gold, one guy 2 talents of gold, and one guy 1 talent of gold. Now, let me ask you guys and gals this. I've already done the research for you. How many pounds do you think are in 1 talent? Just let me know in the comments, and I'm just going to come to the board and show you. Okay, 1 talent of gold equals 75 pounds. Okay? So 1 talent of gold equals 75 pounds. Let me ask you guys and gal this. Let me know in the comments. How many ounces are in a pound? Anyone remember this from school? How many ounces are in a pound? I will tell you this. There are 16 ounces in 1 pound. Okay? I'm going somewhere with this. Watch this, okay? How many of you guys and gals know how much 1 ounce of gold is worth? Take a wild guess. Drop it in the comments. I've already done the research for you. I will show you. 1 ounce of gold is equal to, right now anyways, $3,340 roughly. A little more, a little less, depending on the day. Okay? So are you guys ready for the math here? Are you ready to see the math of just how much money the master lent to his servants? By the way, let me ask you this question. If somebody lends you money, you now have what's called what? Debt. How many of you guys and gals know that not all debt is created equal? There is good debt and there is bad debt, right? What's the difference between good debt and bad debt? Bad debt is whenever you use other people's money to purchase liabilities. Liabilities are purchases that you make that cost you money over and over and over, because you don't just buy the pair of shoes or whatever one time. You purchase the liability and you pay for it once initially, but then you have to pay interest on it every single month until you pay off the full debt. That's called bad debt, okay? Good debt is where you use someone else's money to purchase an asset. An asset is a purchase that you make that makes you money, okay? You guys tracking? Yes or yes? Wave at me like this in the screen or drop some fire emojis in the comments, okay? If you're taking notes, write this down. Liabilities bleed you, but assets will feed you. Okay? Now back to the math that we're talking about here, okay? He gave one guy 5 talents of gold, one guy 2 talents of gold, and one guy 1 talent of gold. We've just learned there are 75 pounds in each talent. There are 16 ounces in 1 pound, and that means for every every 1 ounce of gold is worth $3,340. So let's do some math together, okay? We have $3,340 times 16 ounces of gold. This equals, every pound of gold is worth $53,440. Are y'all tracking? If you're tracking, let me know in the comments, say I'm tracking. Okay? So for every pound of gold, it's worth, excuse me. Every pound of gold is worth $53,440, okay? Now, the talent is 75 pounds, okay? So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna times 53,440 times 75, And that means every single talent is worth $4,008,000. So basically, every talent is worth $4 million each. Are y'all getting it so far? Yes? So very interesting, okay? The master entrusts $4 million to the guy with one. Let me just write it on the board. So the guy with one talent, he now has, let's just for rough numbers, call it 4 million, around 4 million, okay? So 4 million for the guy with one. $8 million for the guy with two. And 20 million for the guy with 5. Someone in the comments write this, each according to his own ability. Okay, let's keep going. So now we are understanding the gravity of what is actually happening here in the parable of the talents. And I'm going somewhere with this, okay? Verse 16 again, the man who had received 5 bags went immediately, put his money to work. Somebody in the comments say, put your money to work. What we need to understand, guys, is we need to understand that broke-minded people work for money, but wealthy-minded people have money work for them. What does that mean? It means we've got to learn how to invest our money in wise places and learn how to multiply that money. And I'm telling you this right now. When you're first starting out, the best place to invest your money is into yourself. It's not into the S&P 500, it's into the SME 500, because whenever you invest into yourself and you learn skills and you grow knowledge and you get wisdom and you get frameworks and you get systems and mentors who it took them 20 years, you just hire them and now it could take you 2 years or 2 months or 2 weeks or 2 days. Whenever you develop these skills, you now become recession proof. It doesn't matter what's going on in the economy. It doesn't matter if there's a pandemic. It doesn't matter if the market is up or if it's down. You have skills that no one can take from you. You're recession proof. So I want to submit to you, stop praying for a miracle and start growing your skills. Let's continue on. Verse 17, the one with 2 bags of gold went and got 2 more. The one with 1, he went and dug a hole, hid his master's money in the ground. Verse 19. After a long time, the master of the servants returned to settle the accounts with them. AKA, who's got my money? Y'all took some debt. Who's got my money? Y'all tracking? Verse 20. The man who had received 5 bags of gold, 5 talents of gold, AKA the man who had received $20 million, came to the master and said, hey, you entrusted me with 20 million, and here it is. I have doubled the money. You gave me 5, and here is 5 more. The guy doubled it. Somebody in the comments say, double it, double it, double it. Interesting. Pay very close attention to the master's response when the man who had 5 talents went immediately and doubled the money. Watch what the master says to him. Hey, master, you gave me 5. I turned it into 10. Here you go. The master replies, well done, good and faithful servant. Time out. Time out. Everyone pay attention here. The master replies, well done, good and faithful servant. Interesting response from the master. Where else do we hear that kind of language? Let me know in the comments. Where else in the Bible do we hear the language, well done, good and faithful servant? Isn't it in the book of Revelation where the righteous who stand before God and they're found righteous, they hear a phrase from the Father, and what is that phrase? Well done, good and faithful servant. Interesting. So the master here is using language that he only uses in other places and other contexts of the word to describe people who have been found as righteous. Are y'all tracking? If you're tracking, drop some fire emojis in the comments. Watch this. Master, you gave me 5. I turned it into 10. Here you go. The master says, master says, well done, good and faithful servant. Watch this. You have been faithful over a few things. Now I will put you in charge of many things. Remember this phrase, each according to his or her own ability. This person here showed I can be entrusted with this income from heaven. I can be entrusted with this level of capacity, and not only can I carry this load, I know how to go and invest this load so that I can turn what you gave me and double it. Pretty interesting, right? So when this guy goes, look, master, you can entrust me with this, I'm going to double it. And the master says, you absolutely did a great job. Well done, good and faithful servant. I find you righteous. I'm going to give you more. Could it be, I submit to you, could it be that one of the reasons why you are not increasing in your finances is because you're not doing what this guy has done? You're not multiplying what God has already given you. You don't know how. Or maybe you're just, what we're going to see here in just a few moments, the one with 1, he calls him lazy. Maybe you're just lazy to go, I don't want to really learn how money works. I don't want to really learn how to grow my skills. I'm too old. I'm too young. Who'd want to learn from me? This is what it is. It's always been like this. My family's always been broke, etc. Or are you going to be one who learns to increase your capacity so you can be entrusted with more? Let's continue on here. Verse 22, the man with 2 bags of gold, the man with 2 talents, comes to the master and said, Master, you entrusted me with two talents, and here I have gained 2 more. Interestingly enough, the master responds back, very similar to the first. He says, well done, good and faithful servant. There's that language again. Interesting that I see here a pattern that when somebody grows their capacity and multiplies what God has entrusted to them, the master sees it as righteousness. Interesting. Yes, we need to live holy. Yes, we need to live sinless lives. But guess what? If you want to be found righteous, you have got to learn how to be like God. You got to learn how to multiply, how to create, he didn't say be fruitful and add. He said be fruitful and what? Drop it in the comments. What did he say? He said be fruitful and multiply. And by the way, not only do we see this in the story of the fig tree, but here in a moment, I'm going to share with you, God, he didn't just suggest that we learn how to multiply what he's given us. He expects it and demands it of us. I'm going to entrust this to you, and you better figure out how to multiply this. If you need help, ask me for help, but it's up to you to grow your capacity. Remember the story of the fig tree? Jesus goes, this fig tree, I'm cursing this fig tree. It doesn't have any fruit on it. And the people are like, but Jesus, it's not even the season. And Jesus is like, if you're going to be connected to me, you need to be ready in season and out. You always need to have fruit. You always need to be multiplying. This is how the kingdom rolls. Remember, the kingdom of heaven is like, he said, if you want to be part of the kingdom, you have always got to be bearing fruit, whether you are in season or out of season. You got to always have fruit on your life. You got to always be multiplying. I expect it from you. Watch this. Let's continue on. Verse 24, The man who had received 1 bag of gold came and said, Master, I knew that you were a hard man and you expected harvest even where you have not sown. Interesting. God expects for us to be multiplying even in areas where we don't feel like God has entrusted much to us. Well, you know, finances is just really not our thing. No one in my family's, well, guess what? It's up to you to begin to learn how to be fruitful. Well, it just didn't come natural for me. Well, guess what? You better learn how to be fruitful. Well, it's not really my thing, and God didn't really put a grace on me. You better learn how to be fruitful in that area. Because the master, right here, it says, he literally expects to reap harvest where he didn't even sow. Every area of your life, you need to be working on increasing your capacity and multiplying. Because if you don't, you're going to stand before the Father one day and he is going to take an account and you're going to, but God, like, no one in my family ever taught me about finances. And you know what he's going to say to you? He's going to say, you were born in a moment of history where infinite knowledge was made available to you at your fingertips. And you're sitting here telling me, but no one in my family ever taught me. I was too old to learn. I was too young to learn. I was too old to learn new skills. I was too young to learn new skills. And God is expecting fruitfulness out of every single area of our life. Watch this. Let's continue on. Master, I knew that you were a hard man, expecting a harvest even where you did not sow, gathering even where you have not scattered seed. Verse 25, super sad, super incredible, super insightful. I was afraid. Take note of this. Why did this person not increase their capacity? Why did this person not think that it was a good idea to go and do something with what God had put on their life? And they literally tell us right here why. I was afraid. If you're taking notes, I need you to write this down. Everything that God has for you is on the other side of fear. Listen, fear is already a tormentor. Don't allow fear to just be a mentor. What does that mean? Fear is already a tormentor. Don't allow fear to become a mentor. See, any decision that you make because you are afraid, you are allowing fear to, quote unquote, mentor you in that decision. Oh man, I'm scared. I shouldn't do this. Hey, you're absolutely right. You shouldn't do it. What if everything falls apart? What if you can't do it? What if it doesn't work? What if you're too old? What if you're too young? What if blah, blah, blah? But you're right, fear. Fear, thanks for mentoring me. I'm not going to move forward because I'm too afraid. Guys, in the kingdom, there is never, ever, ever any retreating. There is only advancement. The only time, I submit to you, try to find one place in the Bible where the people of God retreated. And I will tell you this, the only time the people of God retreat is whenever they didn't inquire and when they were scared. When they didn't ask for God's help and his wisdom and his insight, and when they were afraid. But every single time that they ask God for wisdom and insight and they conquer their fear, it's never, ever, ever retreating. It's always advancement, 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 advancement. Always. It's always all gas and no brakes in the kingdom. I'm not saying you don't go for rest and stuff. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about do not allow fear to be your mentor as well as your tormentor. So he responds back and he says, Master, I knew you were a hard master. You expected a harvest where you haven't even sown. You wanted to reap where you've not even sowed seed. I was afraid. I went and hid your coin in the ground. Here, just have what belongs to you. The master replies, verse 26, pay attention to this, very important. The master replies, "You wicked servant." Uh-oh. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. The two guys who increased their capacity, they were not afraid. Guy number one went immediately. These guys who took what God had given them and multiplied it, the master responds, "Well done, good and faithful servant." He uses language that he uses with the righteous. The one who was afraid and said, "Oh man, I didn't want to learn. I was too scared. Here, just have back what's yours, God." The master responds back. He says, "You are a wicked servant." Let's continue on because I'm gonna tie this together here in just a minute. Absolutely mind-blowing here. He says, "You wicked servant," and then he says, in NIV it says, "You wicked and lazy servant." Sometimes it's not that you're just afraid. Sometimes you're just lazy. I don't want to have to learn about taxes. I don't want to have to learn about finances. I don't want to have to learn about digital marketing. I don't want to have to learn these new skills. I'm just going to chill. So the master responds, "You wicked and lazy servant." He said, "You knew I harvest where I don't sow, and you know I expect to gather where I did not scatter seed." He said, "You should have at least put the money into a deposit with the bankers." Basically, he's saying you should have at least went and put the money in a high yield savings account to where you could have at least got interest back on it. He said that would have even been better. Even if you didn't multiply it, you should have done something with it. You should have done something, and you didn't even do anything. So watch what he says in verse 28. He says, "So take the bag of gold from him who has 1 and give it to the one who has 10. I'm about to make a statement here that is one of the most insane statements ever because so many believers think that God is all about fair. God's the most fair. No, he's not. Nothing God does is fair. You think the transaction of salvation is fair? For who? It's completely unfair. Nothing God does is fair. It's always according to your own capacity. This whole idea of like, oh man, the rich keep getting richer and the poor keep getting poorer. Guys, this isn't just like some kind of like political statement. This is a biblical principle, and I'm going to show you here. Verse 29. After he says, take the bag of gold from the one who has 1, give it to the guy who has 10, he goes on to make a like a scandalous statement, and he says this, "For whoever has, more will be given to him, and they will have even more abundance. And to whoever does not have, even what they have will be taken from them." What? What am I trying to say to you here? Watch this. Come with me to the board. Number 1, these people in this story, it was not all the quote unquote bad guys and the wicked people, and God's going to just take money from wicked people and give it to a bunch of believers who are not good stewards with money anyways. I know that's what most church people think, but that's not how this works. God's not just going to take money from wicked people and give it to believers who don't know how to be good stewards. That's not how this works. Look at this. And how do I know this? Because these were his servants. These were all believers. These were all his people. They were all his servants. It didn't say he called random wicked people to him. It said he called his servants to him. This is talking about God's people, man. Number 1. Number 2, I know I keep talking about this, but we have to get this, guys. How does God entrust to us? He does it according to our own ability. And like we already established, can you increase your ability? Yes or yes. But you can't do it if you're afraid and if you are lazy. You wicked and lazy servant. I was afraid. I knew you wanted to reap a harvest from my life, And I was just afraid and I was scared and I was lazy. You're wicked. Interesting. Number 3. There is something to be said about massive action. The one with 5 went immediately. He took massive action. Massive action, guys. I'm telling you guys and gals this. Imperfect always beats I never started. Imperfect always beats I never started. Go do it scared. Go do it imperfectly, but go do it now. Somebody in the comments drop these words. Do it now, do it now, do it now, do it now, do it now. Guys, I'm not talking about like, well, man, maybe one day down the road and maybe whenever this is right, maybe when the stars are aligned, maybe, listen. If you are waiting for your external situation to be perfect before you take action, then what you are saying to yourself is that my success is conditional. I will only have success if everything goes right. But for those of you guys and gals who are massive action takers, those of you guys and gals who are willing to jump off the cliff and learn how to build the airplane on the way down, those of you guys and gals who are going to do it now, guess what? No matter what's going on in your external, when you take massive action, even when things around you don't seem like they're perfect, you are now telling yourself, my success is not conditional, it's inevitable. I will be successful no matter what, no matter what's going on around me, no matter if it's a rainy day, if it's a sunny day, if stuff's going good, if stuff's going bad, I will be successful no matter what because I will be a massive action taker. Also, this idea that many believers try to hide behind fear and call it wisdom. Oh, we just want to pray about it, brother. God's been speaking to me for 6 months about this very thing, and now I have an opportunity, but let me go pray about it. What? Pray about what? You've already been praying about it. There comes a time where we have to stop praying about it only, and we need to start being about it. Don't hide behind fear and pretend like it's wisdom. Oh, we want to make sure we're not being unwise. Kidding? You're just scared. And by the way, it's okay to be scared, but don't allow fear to be your mentor. Now that we understand all of these pieces, okay? Now that we understand that 1 talent of gold was roughly worth maybe around $4 million-ish, okay? I need you to understand this. This idea that the wealth of the wicked is stored up for the righteous. It has less to do with God taking money from bad people and giving it to his people when they're not even good stewards as it is. No wise king would ever do that. So here's my charge to you guys and gals, okay? Here's my encouragement to you guys and gals. If you have the desire to see your finances grow to the next level, you must begin to increase your financial capacity. It's up to you. You literally have an infinite amount of knowledge at your fingertips. You can go hire coaches, you can hire mentors, you can get their systems, you can listen to podcasts, you can read books, you can read articles, you can grow your financial capacity and not just be addicted to education, but allergic to execution. As you're learning, go take massive action. I remember a story, like when my wife and I, this is probably 6 years ago, And we had started to make some pretty decent money in our businesses. And I was at the point now where, we had become millionaires, but we were still newer in business. And I just knew, like, my superpower, guys, is I'm an action taker. I jump off the cliff and learn how to build the plane on the way down. It is my superpower 90% of the time, and it's my kryptonite, 10-15% of the time. And that's the beauty of what God does in all of our lives, right? Your superpower can be your kryptonite sometimes. And so anyways, we had decided, okay, we're going to build an e-commerce brand with some of the profits that we're making from our other businesses. I went and I invested into an e-commerce training program, spent thousands of dollars. And I remember I was going through it with a buddy, and a buddy of mine was like, hey, let's do this thing. I'm like, cool, whatever. And so we both joined the program together. And on day one, I watched like 2 or 3 lessons, and I instantly started just taking action on the lessons. Boom, 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 boom. A week later, my buddy and I were hanging out, and he was like, man, I was like, hey, how you doing on your e-com stuff? He's like, I'm still going through the programs. I'm like, oh, that's cool. He's like, where are you at? I'm like, dude, I'm already like getting my first product going. He's like, wait, what? What are you talking about? Like, how? He's like, did you go through the whole entire system? I'm like, no. He's like, how do you know what you're doing? I'm like, I literally am just taking every single step, and I'm taking massive action on every single baby step. And he's like, well, don't you need to like understand the whole entire process before you go? I was like, why would I do that? I don't need to have all 57 steps figured out before I take step 1. I just need to know what is step 1 and then take action on it. Okay, I took action on step 1. What's step 2? Step 2 is this, take action on it. I don't need to have the whole entire thing before, like all the understanding of the whole entire thing just to take action, right? Guys, if you have the desire for God to increase your financial situation, you've got to grow your capacity. And one of the strongest ways you can do this is by growing your financial literacy and then taking massive action on it. You're not too old. You're not too young. You can learn new skills. This will work for you as you continue to go for it, and you decide in your heart, I'm not going to allow my external situations to dictate my success. I will be successful no matter what. No matter what's going on around me, I will figure this out. It has to work, or it has to work. And when you step in to this reality, friends, you begin to discover, interesting. This idea of the wealth of the wicked is stored up for the righteous is less about bad people, God taking money from bad people and giving it to God's people, even though God's people are more broke half the time than bad people. No, God is going to look at his house, and he's going to say, who is being a good steward? Who can I entrust more to? Who is being wicked and lazy and scared? Because if you're scared, if you're lazy, if you're wicked, I'm going to take from you and I'm going to give it to the ones who know how to do something with it. Well, thanks so much for joining me for today's training, guys. If you liked it, make sure to like and subscribe and hit the bell. And do not forget, join me for the upcoming 5-day live virtual training where I'm going to show you exactly how to monetize your knowledge, grow online wealth, and create generational wealth so that you no longer have to trade your time for dollars. We'll see you guys there. Click the link down below, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next training.